Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Bix Weir, roadrunner.com. Back to basics. Let's take a look at silver, and then we'll take a look at Theta. Those are my two big monster, massive, way undervalued picks for your investment. Not your investment. My investment money. This is not financial advice. These are two things that are so important for our future, and yet I would say 0.1% of the investing population even know about them, and that's physical silver and the Theta network, especially T-Fuel right now. I'll get to that in a second. Anyway, silver is still below the $30 price. $30, nobody really cares about it anymore. Once it breached it, it's fine. Silver is traded on the COMEX, which is futures and options exchange, not on really any other markets. I am keeping an eye on the Indian market. The Chinese market, you can't trust. Not that you can trust the Indian market, not that you can trust anybody anymore ever again, but this is what the best things we have to look at. Silver is holding strong right around 30. The key to the silver thing is this. Staying above those moving averages means the bankers lose money. Bankers are bleeding money because of their silver short position. If anything happens, for example, and I do expect this to happen before Election Day, China invades Taiwan. They can't do it when Trump gets in. They're going to have to do it. They've been waiting to do this, and the good guys and bad guys, hopefully it'll be a peaceful takeover. But it's going to happen. And there's nothing really that you and I can do about it except prepare. One, if you're going to get any electronics, you better get it now. So yeah, if you need a new laptop or an iPhone or something like that, all the chips, not all, but a vast majority of the chips for computers are made in Taiwan. And that's part of the reason that China is going to go in there. They're not going to blow up the buildings and the manufacturing facilities. That's the jewel of Taiwan. But I guess we'll find out soon enough. I have always said there's a 3-part plan to the game of taking out the bad guys. Number 1, get Trump in, make him the bad guy, which they did. Number 2, get Putin to take out the criminals in the Ukraine and make him the bad guy, which they did. Number 3 is Xi of China. China goes into Taiwan, reclaims their property, and says, get away the rest of the world. All of a sudden, Xi is the bad guy. That's the big one, because China makes all the U.S. products, practically. But what would a world be like without globalization? I think we're going to find out very soon. We're going to have to make our own things. I don't think there's a problem with that. We should have never outsourced all our manufacturing capacity to China in the first place. This was all orchestrated. I remember sitting with Janet Yellen, none other than Janet Yellen, in a room full of 30 bankers, where Janet was the head of the Fed at the San Francisco Federal Reserve. She came into this elite banking establishment, the Union Pacific Club in San Francisco. My dad was a member, and he invited me, and I sat through the bullshit that Janet Yellen was piping to all these rich bankers about, you got to invest in China. Everything's going to China now. I'm like, what does that do for the United States of America? Oh, we'll get free products. We'll get very cheap products. Yeah, we'll destroy the manufacturing capacity of the whole country, and all of a sudden China will be stronger than us. And she just couldn't understand it, or didn't want to. No, she probably couldn't. She's a yes girl. She'll say yes to the people who control her. I wasn't impressed at all. Anyway, so here we are, and that was the late 90s, believe it or not. Here we are. China does have control of the manufacturing capacity of the planet. They have partnered with Russia. They have partnered with every other country practically in the world. They would rather partner with people than take them over and run their country secretly, like the United States has done. Read Confessions of an Economic Hitman and you'll understand just what the U.S. was doing the entire time, claiming we're spreading freedom. It's a crock of shit. Don't get me wrong. I love my country. I will always love my country. I don't love the people who have run it. And those are the people we're taking out. All right, so silver, yes, $50 silver will be challenged this year, and I think it'll fly through $50 like a knife through butter. Again, if you shut down the COMEX, that's their entire mechanism for rigging the price. And I will show you how much what it takes to rig the price. Every day they're trading right here the open interest, or volume per day. Volume per day is the volume yesterday was 94,705 contracts. That's just below 500 million ounces of electronic silver trading back and forth to set the price. And these banks collude with each other. Bank of America, JP Morgan. A lot of it's done through a company called Virtu Financial. Virtu Financial was created by Vinny Viola, originally called EWT LLC. Then changed their name. They're actually an authorized participant in SLV. And EWT LLC it stood for the Elliott wave theory. We called it the idiot wave theory back then because they would use it to fleece those people who believed in the technicals. And it's still being done today. That's why the ridiculousness of the moving averages right here, throwing it below the moving averages. If everybody knows the game, how will the game continue to work? Which apparently it hasn't. It hasn't been working since like March of this year. And that's vast losses for the same group of 5 to 10 banks who collude with each other. And they include governments in on that, of course, and the regulators are in on it. It's very embarrassing for the United States. Anyway, what I want to talk about today a little bit is the EFPs, exchange for physical. You see, the deliveries on the COMEX have pretty much died. Very little silver is delivered on the COMEX. I remember when COMEX was delivering on a delivery month, COMEX was delivering 70, 80 million ounces of silver per month, per delivery month. And now it hasn't even come close to that. Let's see, the largest this year was right here, 6,000, which is 30 million ounces, which is, it's no small chunk of silver, especially these days, but it's nothing near the averages of 50, 60, 70. I think it was 85 million was the highest I remember in 1 month delivered, 85 million ounces. I can't do it anymore. So what do? Exchange for physical. Exchange for physical, an EFP, which is yesterday it was a big one. It was over 10 million. It's 11 million ounces right there. Actually, that was Friday's. 11 million ounces exchange for physical. That's when you take a COMEX contract and you send it over to the LBMA, the London Bullion Market Association, the dark, deep hole in the silver market that nobody's allowed to see what's really going on. They lie about everything and anything. It's the city of London. What do you expect? But supposedly a lot of physical silver is transacted there. Not as much as they claim. They claim, I think it's somewhere around 300 billion ounces a year is traded on that exchange, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But everything is ridiculous these days. So let's take a look at who's taking delivery. That's always fun. So this month is not a delivery month. Next month is July. So we should see 25 to 30 million ounces. But a lot goes into exchange for physical. But who are they? Who are these people? Let's take a look. So this is silver for this month, a non-delivery month. Right now we're looking at 6 million ounces have been delivered. Not bad for a non-delivery month. And we're only halfway through the month, by the way. Remember, anybody can go on the COMEX. Well, maybe not anybody. Buy a silver contract and stand for delivery that day. They don't have to deliver it until the end of the month, but you can do it. It can be done. Let's see, who are the big players here? Obviously, JP Morgan customers. JP Morgan got taken out by Trump and family when they busted them, $920 million fine for rigging the gold, silver in the treasury market. So they gave all the rigging accounts to their customer that they still manage, which is ridiculous if you think about it. But hey, so JP Morgan has delivered almost half of this month's deliveries, 555 contracts, which is almost 3 million ounces in that range. of the total of 6 million ounces. Of course, JP Morgan is knee deep in the silver manipulation game. Scotia Capital has been a big taker this month. 351 contracts. I thought they were supposed to get out of metals trading, but apparently not. I mean, this isn't massive, but it's pretty big. As you can see, they're probably just loading up for delivery probably next month. It's all a game. Wells Fargo has been really strange, huge contracts back and forth. These are spread trades probably. They both take delivery and give delivery and make a small percentage of what they can do using the futures and options. This is a derivative upon a derivative game at Wells Fargo. That'll blow up in their face at some point. Here's a big one. Standard Chartered Bank, who we hear of once every blue moon. Standard Chartered Bank, who's a long-time silver rigger. I mean, going back into the HSBC days in the 1800s. Standard Chartered Bank actually had to deliver 860. So that's the big deliverer. Standard Chartered Bank, 860,000 or 860 contracts, which is about a little over 4 million ounces for Standard Chartered Bank. Interesting. And then HSBC. Look at this. Oh, wait, I'm looking at the wrong month. Last month. Sorry, that's last month. Last month was huge for HSBC and deliveries. Look at that. Over 3,000 contracts, which is 15 million ounces just for that criminal bank HSBC. As a matter of fact, look at all year HSBC has been HSBC customers, just like JP Morgan customers are the takers. HSBC, I think they run the hedge book for the U.S. Mint, that criminal organization run by Ventris Gibson, the HR professional from the the Biden administration. Has anybody seen the Biden videos lately? Oh my God. There's supposed to be a debate sometime at the end of the month. By the way, I do not think that Biden will be the Democratic Party nominee. I don't know what their plan is, but by scheduling a debate for the beginning, it's a really early debate, beginning of June. I don't think they thought Biden would have lasted until like August, September, when the usual debates are. So they say, hey, come on, Trump, let's go behind the school and have a debate. I think this is the time when they take Biden out and say, he's incapacitated. And then who are they going to get? I don't know. Mike Obama? No. I think people have seen through that con. Unknown. It is truly unknown. Will we have an election? I don't know. Is Trump still the president anyway? I don't know. There's so much fake stuff going on now. If Biden's speaking, it's probably someone wearing one of those there's these new masks that look so real. And the AI technology, you can write a speech I could program a speech where Biden says, we're going to bomb Russia, and it'll look exactly like Biden. It's insane what can be done now, and they're using all their tools. Don't be fooled. That's why Biden looks a little different every time. But he literally, it's like Weekend at Bernie's is our president right now. Macquarie took delivery the last 2 months. Interesting. So that's what's going on. Same old shit, different day, same riggers. Harvey Organ does a great job at harveyorganblog.com in tracking the exchange for physicals. This could be the largest year ever for exchange for physicals, on track to do over 1.4 billion ounces of silver contracts exchanged from the COMEX in America over to London for delivery, supposedly. We do know India just came out again with their silver imports, 138 million, which comes to 4.6 million ounces. Not a huge month, but not bad. They are on track. They are right now at the end of May, so this is the May number. They're at 140 million ounces that have been imported in India, which is massive. I think the record's 300, so we're on track for 300 for the year. But India only buys in these areas down here. So at the beginning of the year, they did most of the 140. So with the silver above the moving averages, India's really not buying much. Every time it dips below 30, they buy a little bit, but not a lot. If it ever dips below the moving averages, they are going to load up the boat. Hundreds of millions of ounces. They need the silver. Their solar projects that they have literally in the pipeline are going to need a hell of a lot of silver, just like everybody else, a hell of a lot of silver. All right, here's an interesting video. It's from Undecided with Matt Farrell. What really happens to used solar panels? So I want to talk about this. People say, oh, no, they'll just recycle the silver out of the panel. First of all, it's massively expensive to get the silver out. There are other things that offset the cost too. The glass and all the different particles and things like that. But silver's probably pound for pound the most valuable thing in a solar panel. And there's not much. I mean, they spray it on in little lines. And also think, not many solar panels went in prior to the last 3 or 4 years. So if you're thinking, oh, the new technology will get all the silver out of the solar panels, well, that's great if it does, but you won't get any substantial amount of solar panel recycling for at least 20 to 30 years. Because all that silver is in the panels, unless you're going to rip down a panel well before its maturity date, which I think will start happening. At $500 silver or $5,000 silver, we might be pulling solar panels off the roof to get this silver out. Don't know. The technology is improving, which it should. The whole concept of thrifting. Thrifting is a concept that like Jeffrey Christian will tell you about, Metals Focus will tell you about, and that's the idea or the concept that in solar you can use over time less and less silver to offer the same functionality. And it's just a lie. Thrifting is a complete lie. It is possible to thrift silver, meaning using less silver per panel in any substantial way. It is possible to do it, but there's no reason to do it. It degrades the ability of that panel, and the silver price hasn't risen in hell of a long time. Why thrift out silver and make your panels less efficient if the price of silver doesn't move no matter how much you buy? So the whole concept that silver's been thrifted down to 10 milligrams per watt is a crock of shit. And I hear people say that, the thrifting is, that's why all these people coming out saying TopCon silver only has 10 to 13 milligrams per watt is a fucking lie. It's double that. These guys are lying their asses off. And even some silver analysts, I saw a guy in Kitco, they'll be thrifting and silver will be no longer just. I'm like, in what world do you live? It's one of the biggest secrets held by the solar panel manufacturers, how much silver they actually use. But I've been looking at the silver paste manufacturers. They're doubling every year. Why are they doubling if they're using less and less silver? It's not. They're not using less and less silver. If anything, they're using more silver with TopCon and the new technologies because it's more efficient. If you get 1-2% better capacity by using silver, you'd use it because it's not just 1 year we're talking about. It's a 25, 30 year, 40 year long asset. That when you run the calculations on how long silver's a tiny part of that equation. Although the interest rates are a much bigger part. Anyway, but it's an interesting video on how they go about trying to pull the silver out of, and you can see how hard it is, out of these solar panels. But again, the supply of used solar panels is almost nothing. It's ridiculously low because who's going to tear down their solar panel? They're going to run it. They say at 80%, it's pretty much done. Now people at their house, they're not going to swap out their solar panels. They'll just get less and less electricity use out of it. Come on, people. I'm tired of dumb people. Interesting, Vietnam hit by widespread internet disruption after undersea cables fail. 3 undersea cables, 3 of the 5 going into Vietnam. That is a sign of things to come, my friends. Get ready for massive internet outages. They can't have the internet available to everyone. The deep state, they can't. There's just too much availability of information. They don't control the narrative when people have free access to the internet. So I do expect this to hit every country. They will sabotage everything they can because they're cornered rats and they're going down. And, there's no way around it. So they're going to take out the ability for us to know what the heck's going on. So keep an eye on that. All right, quickly, let's talk about Theta. The Edge Cloud is on its way. 9 more days before the next major upgrade to Theta Elite Edge booster nodes. This is for AI, CPU and GPU for AI. So this is sharing your hard drive and your computer speed capacity for AI. AI is it is going to take over the world, absolutely. At least the majority of functions. We're going to have to figure out how we fit in. A great way to fit in is through the infrastructure side of AI. And that would be obvious. NVIDIA, everybody's like, oh my God, NVIDIA, that's the infrastructure of AI. Theta blows NVIDIA away, in my opinion. A decentralized, it uses NVIDIA. It works hand in hand with NVIDIA, except it uses everybody else's excess capacity. How much excess computing capacity is on the planet? There's billions and billions of computers and availability on hard drives, shareable CPU power, shareable bandwidth. That's what Theta has tapped into. The ability to harness all this extra capacity and put it to use. It's a sharing economy, completely decentralized, even safer than things like Google Cloud. That's why Google is working with Theta. They're together teaming up along with AWS, the Amazon Web Services. Anybody who does cloud stuff, the cloud has to be decentralized, and that's where it's going. And that's an invention by Theta Labs. So, yes, you absolutely should be involved in Theta. And by the way, it is so cheap right now. Theta is back to, it was just $3 a couple months ago. It's back to $1.55. The supreme number to buy at will probably be under $1. I don't think it'll get there, but it might be. I don't know. Theta and Theta Fuel are like silver. I don't care what the price is. I know what the use case is in the future. And it is massive. So it's great. People can get into Theta at a cheap price now. And Theta Fuel, especially the Theta Fuel ratio, I think is way out of whack. It's like, oh, see that little bump right there? That's someone who knows what's going on. Like a big guy. Yeah, definitely load up on Theta Fuel. For the coming the upgrade to booster nodes and the AI for the AI people to use the Theta network, they're going to have to get a lot of T-Fuel. Imagine Google and Amazon and every corporation who wants to use AI cheaply buying T-Fuel. It's going to be amazing. I think that ratio should go to probably the natural ratio, which is the amount of coins created. And remember, this booster node stuff, that's people paying in Theta Fuel. It is not an increase in the amount of Theta Fuel. So the net is going to be a huge demand for Theta Fuel. And you lock it up for a year, 2 years. I don't know how many people are going to be doing a booster node. They just got cheaper. I mean, you need 500,000 Theta Fuel as your base, and you can go up to 1 million per node. So that 500,000, now that Theta is so cheap, would be what, $35,000. Yeah. So to run a full node up to 1 million, it's about $70,000 of staked T-Fuel, which is a hell of a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, when you're talking about how much money does Google have, how much money does Amazon have, how much money does in the scope of like NVIDIA investments, it's nothing. So yeah, it's supposed to kick out depending on how long you stake it. What are they saying? Maximum would be like 28%. It's like, holy crap, where can you get 28%? And then you have the appreciation or depreciation of T-Fuel. I think in the long run, T-Fuel is an amazing buy, but also Theta is the mothership. There's all kinds of reasons to invest in Theta as well. But I think for right now, Theta Fuel, you're probably better off going Theta Fuel and staking it if you have enough to stake at those payout rates. All right? That's what I got for you right now. We are currently giving away 5 Theta, 50 T-Fuel, and 500 T-Drop loaded on a paper wallet for those who don't know anything about cryptos but want to at least have their foot in the game. We give these out with every private road subscription on the Road to Ruta. Go to roadtoruta.com, click on subscribe today. Don't forget to get the free public road updates I send an email out every few days with more and more information about the amazingness of our future. This is a positive thing. We're going to have to go through hell. Cryptos will go to zero. Silver will go to zero. Stocks and bonds will go to zero. Everything will go to zero. When the bank derivative bubble crashes, there will be nothing open. I'm hoping the internet stays up, probably be intermittent. This is a huge change, and it's something that's been in the works for a very long time. Nobody ever wanted to go through it. But I think this population is so fed up with their government, we're willing to go through anything to get out of where we are. So that's my take. Silver is for the now. Theta and Theta Fuel is for the future. This is Bix Weir, roadtoruhr.com. I'll talk to you later.